Hello everybody, my name is Robert and this is Review Clue. Now, we've had the Xbox Series X and Series S for, just over a week now. And like every console launch, it didn't go the best. There have been problems. From disk drives not working, to some of the problems that I've had with software, to even allegedly some consoles smoking, which we'll get into. That's what we're going to look at today. This console launch and just how badly or well it went. Remember, if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on your screen, then one, lucky you. And two, go down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you get notified every time I upload. Anyway, let's get right into today's video and look at the Xbox Series X launch. Now, for now, we are just going to be focusing on the Series X because I've had some of my own problems and it's the one that's got the most coverage. We're going to go straight ahead and look at first the smoking issue. I genuinely found this hilarious. As soon as I saw this video, which I'll post on the screen now, I watched this and I went, come on, people aren't actually believing that, are they? But yes, people genuinely did believe that that someone's Xbox was smoking. And it was clear that this wasn't the case. Because one, no amount of electronics are going to produce that much smoke. And if it did, then it would be much darker, dirtier smoke. This was clearly vape. And yeah, everyone claimed that it was vape. If you blow vapor into your console, it's going to linger there for about a minute because of its amazing airflow. And then Xbox had to come out and physically tweet and say, don't blow vape into your Xbox. Like, 2020 has been the strangest year for a console manufacturer to physically have to tell people, don't blow vape into your console. It's just the most stupid thing. And the thing is, people believed it as well. I don't know what's worse, the people doing it or the people believing it. It was clear that this simply wasn't the case and that it was just someone trying to cash in on some fake news. But I think that's just the last 2 years in a nutshell. It's fake news. So with the vape situation out of the way and talked about, let's talk about a genuine issue, which was that some disk drives simply didn't work. They wouldn't accept disks, or it wouldn't spin up, and this is pretty normal. It's pretty normal for any console launch. The 360 had some of these problems, the One had this problem, the PS4 has had this problem, and it's something that simply you have to just work with. You've got to remember that millions of these things have been sent out, and though QC and QA is good, it isn't perfect. So some of these false drives got through the cracks somehow and got through to consumers, and Xbox are doing their best to get you a new one out as quickly as you can. So yes, there are some drive issues, but it doesn't stop you from using the console altogether. You've of course got all of those digital games from Game Pass or things that you've bought. So not a killer issue, but definitely an issue all the same. And then there's my experience. Most of the problems that I've had were software problems. So as soon as I got my Series X, I wanted to transfer all of my data from the Xbox One X to my Series X. So what I did was I set up some network transfer. Straight away, I hoped that I could do similar than you can with the PS4 to PS5. You physically connect an Ethernet cable from one console to another, but that doesn't work. I don't know why Xbox hasn't allowed this. It would be a really cool feature to allow because it makes things a lot quicker if you've got a straight connection from one to the other. But no, that's not a feature. So I enabled network transfer on both my consoles, both the Series X and the One X, and set it up. And I was like, okay, cool, that's going. It's going to turn off both the consoles, put them into sleep mode. It should copy across in sleep mode. And I went off, did my work, came back 5-6 hours later to all of my installations stopped. Yep. Nothing had installed. It was ridiculous. For some reason, the software on the One X or the Series X just didn't like network transferring when it's in sleep mode. So you have to have both consoles physically turned on for it to do it, and then I was finding that the speeds I was getting weren't actually that much faster than me just re-downloading them myself. So I had to do that. I had to go in and physically re-download each game, and it took a very, very long time. It took like 2 days to get all of my games back from my One X to my Series X, and it's unfortunate, but it's something that we have to deal with as gamers, I suppose. Now, with that note, we did also have some issues which I think we saw in the unboxing, which will be up in the cards or in the description down below as well. With LG TVs in particular, it really didn't like going HDR, 120Hz, and 4K. Doing all three of those things caused the game, I think it was game response, to just flicker on and off, and you got this black flickery screen, and it was a really big issue. So I had to bring it back down to 60 Hz. This has since been fixed, and actually I think the fix for it came from LG the same day. So it wasn't an issue now, but it certainly was when I first got the console and started using it, that some LG TVs, I think pretty much all LG TVs from the C and B range, just had this problem that you couldn't turn on HDR, 120Hz, 4K, and variable refresh rate. So that was a big problem. Anyway, I think actually in terms of problems, that was pretty much it. We didn't see a ton of issues. There was a console or two that simply just didn't start the Xbox button. It would either power boot or not turn on at all. And again, these are just things that happen. These have been very, very isolated cases. There's 2-3 of these out there in the world. And of course, Microsoft are doing what they can to get these people new consoles as soon as they can. But it hasn't just been hardware and software issues that's really plagued this launch. I think the biggest thing is people just not being able to buy them. With any launch of a product that's sought after, you get scalpers. Scalpers are the scum of the earth. And I think probably should really take a look at themselves in the mirror for what they're doing, because I see people on Facebook Marketplace and eBay and such selling Series X's and Series S's for £300, £400, £500 more than they're actually worth. To me, that is disgusting behaviour, because you can see these people have got 10, 12 consoles to sell, and in this year in particular, in this market, we're all in a recession. We cannot afford to pay these much higher prices, and it was done so badly that people could actually order this many from different stores and such. I think one way that we could have got around this, and Microsoft, maybe you could implement this for your next launch if you ever have a next console launch, is that you have to log in and link the Xbox to your Xbox account. That way, what you're doing is you're saying one console for one account. Then the scalper would have to make a ton of Xbox accounts and it just wouldn't be as practical for the scalpers to be able to create these bots to buy 10, 12, 15 of these things and sell them at stupidly high markups. And on that note, if you do want one of these consoles, please do not pay scalper money. Because one, it's disgustingly overpriced, and two, wait a couple of months, maybe a month, maybe even 2, 3, and you'll be able to get these consoles at the right price, at that $450 mark and lower for the Series S, obviously. But just don't pay the scalpers. And of course, this is the COVID generation that we're living in, that Microsoft and Sony have had real trouble creating these consoles and keeping up with demand. Like, demand's been really high for these consoles, and they can't keep up. And I totally understand that. And people are getting really upset with Microsoft and Sony for not creating enough, but it's simply the case that they created as many as they could. And if we look at some news sources from Microsoft and other places, this has actually been the most successful product launch for Microsoft ever. Like, they are sold out everywhere. They have made so much money, and I think actually they sold the most consoles ever in their first period, which is insane when you think about it. in this recession, we've still managed to sell millions of these consoles. So anyway, guys, let me know, did you manage to pick up a Series X? Have you had any problems that I haven't discussed in this video? Because, let's be honest, there's been a lot of problems. And maybe drop down in the comment section below, tell me what those problems are, and maybe I can revisit this in a couple of months' time if more problems are starting to resurface. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.